Hello everybody and welcome to race number 16 of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Wheels of Fire 500 at Champs Elysees here in France. So this is going to be an interesting road course race, and joining me for special guest commentary, a man who will be making his Walmart Cup Series debut in Season 6, driving the number 19 for Joe Gibbs. Please welcome Bob Jones. How are you doing, Bob?
Good. This race is going to be pretty exciting. This is a pretty exciting track. I hope to see some battles for the lead here.
Well, we'll see. But before we get into the pace lap, let's take a look at the point standings coming into this race. DORIAN FACEPUNCHER has a 16 points lead over second and third in points, which are David Rivera and Danny Wells. And then fourth in points, a total of 23 points behind, is Sonny Hammond. And then fifth in points, a total of 32 points behind, is Chris Washer. Then the rest of the top 10 is PJ Williams, Charles Sanford, Jekko Knight, Matt McIntyre, and Jesse SETTY. And then the rest of the top 20 is Alex Hawkins, Cole Daly, the only rookie in the top 20 in the standings, James Qualls, Seth Cole, Joshua Michaels, Kendall Maynard, Dylan Thoreau, Dylan Young, Michael Norman, and our pole setter for today, Charles Jackson. With that being said, as you see your starting grid on the top of your screen, let's get this pace lap going, shall we? And we're using the helicopter camera for now, because the camera angles still need work here, but the top 10 starting lineup: Charles Jackson's going to be on the pole, second Rue McIntyre, third Sean Galligan, fourth PJ Williams, fifth Jekko Knight, sixth Kyle Matthews, seventh Danny Wells, eighth Joshua Collard, ninth Anthony McCrory, 10th Jesse SETTY. So that is how the starting lineup's going to be here in this race as we get ready to go racing for 27 laps. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys and girls.
Oh, God.
And right now, Charles Jackson got off to a nice start there for the most part. As we look around, so far it's good to go. And remember, with road course races, no cautions. So if you wreck, pretty much. And Charles Jackson has gotten off to a huge lead over new second place driver Sean Galligan, but here comes Rue McIntyre back underneath. So Bob, who do you think is going to be a good pick to win this race?
I'm guessing the 32 car. I have no idea who he or she is.
Jekko Knight, who comes in 8th in the points. He's coming on trying to get underneath for second. PJ Williams in the 45, who's 6th in points, trying to get into that second spot as well. And as we are blocked off right now, so we gotta go to helicopter view. And as we look around the back to see if anything big is going on, wow, they're going 3 wide. Wait, that's one car going into pit road, and that's Matt McIntyre.
Maybe it might be pit strategy, or it might be no schedule.
Oh, he does have damage. He must have got into something.
I wonder what happened to him.
Well, for those wondering, on the lower right of your screen, you're going to see what happened to the 8 car. As for us, we will take a look at it after the race. Meanwhile, Charles Jackson led lap 1. Battle for second continues between Jekko Knight and Sean Galligan. And then back here, look at this crazy racing back here as PJ Williams gets the wall, but keeps it together. This is for 4th right here between Kyle Matthews and Rue McIntyre. Anthony McCrory coming in too.
Charles Jackson must be looking in his mirror and seeing the 32 and that other car battling it out for second and just thinking that he has a couple more laps given from that because he can just drive away from it.
Yeah. Matt McIntyre is still running on track, but just with no hood, it looks like. As we keep looking around, man, they are just double 3 wide racing for some parts of the track. So there shows how hard they are racing right now here in the early stages of the race. But remember, there's going to be pit stops that are going to happen, so you never know what's going to happen when it comes to pit strategy.
Right now, it essentially is the Charles Jackson show up front.
Yeah, and Charles Jackson is, in my opinion, out of the drivers who have been in this series since the very beginning, Charles Jackson's the one guy who has not won a single Walmart Cup Series race since the series inception. And he has been hungry for that first points win. He won a Chase LCQ race at Talladega back in Season 2, but that was it. He has not won a points race. And he would love to get that win here today, here at our first trip here in France at Champs Elysees.
Add a little bit of an accent there.
Well, you have to sometimes when you're in the other countries. Right now, Jekyll Knight hangs in the third. Battle for third. Kyle Matthews trying to impress, and he's almost trying to get up to the 32 of Jekyll Knight for second as well. So Kyle Matthews trying to go for his first win of the season, and considering he comes in 42nd in the points, this would be big for that 24 car. Meanwhile, as we keep looking around,
the helicopter cam.
I know, I was just looking back there, but anyways, no other incidents have taken place for the most part. And while we're at it, let's take a look and see how the field looks, or actually at least the top 20 right at the moment. Charles Jackson is the leader. Second is Jekyll Knight. Third is Kyle Matthews. Fourth, Sean Galligan. Fifth, Mitchell Riggs. Where did he come from? Sixth is Joshua Collard. Seventh, Anthony McCrory. Eighth, PJ Williams. Ninth, Rue McIntyre. 10th is Danny Wells. 11th is Jesse SETTY. 12th, Sonny Hammond. 13th is Jackie Tang. 14th, Brandon Nichols. 15th, Michael Norman. 16th, Dylan Thoreau. 17th, Stephen Pollard III. 18th, Austin Weiner. 19th, Brandon Gonzalez. 20th is Preston Blord. Meanwhile, as we look up here, battle for 5th, Joshua Collard going to go by Mitchell Riggs for that position. And Kyle Matthews going to try to go by for 2nd, but Jekyll Knight's going to have the low line here. But will Kyle be able to keep it together up high? Oh, he about went into the sand or the dirt. But he's still running side by side. But they're both within under a 2nd of leader Charles Jackson. So you don't know if whether or not they're actually faster or slower.
Charles Jackson still dominating up front.
Indeed. And then back here, Sean Galligan kind of lurking in the shadows of this battle for 2nd with Kyle Matthews and Jekyll Knight, which Kyle Matthews has officially gone by for the 2nd position. Now we're going to see if whether or not Kyle has anything for that 00 up at the front. Meanwhile, we keep looking around to see if anything's happened. Whoa, near contact between Daniel Day and Cody Lamas.
That was extremely close.
Yeah. As we keep on looking around the track for anything going down. But right now, it is still all Charles Jackson up at the front with an over 1 second lead over 2nd place Kyle Matthews. Running in that number 24 Pepsi Max Chevy for Hendrick.
Hendrick?
Yep. Yep, I said Hendrick. Anyways, and then Jekyll Knight back here in 3rd still. Back here is, oh, this is interesting. Battle between boyfriend and girlfriend back here in the 10th spot. Rue McIntyre, Jesse SETTY battling each other for that 10th spot.
I want them to wreck. The inner TV side of me wants them to wreck, because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, they probably, I probably shouldn't say it, because my brother, he probably might get mad at me.
Well, come at me, bro.
But anyways, Charles Jackson still holding off everybody up at the front of the field, as we've only had one incident take place today, and that was with something to do with the 8 car. If I had to make an assumption, I think he might have gotten crowded and forced out of the track, and he might have hit the wall or something. That would be my best assumption of what happened.
That seems like a pretty good assumption. I don't really see anybody's like back bumper messed up at all either, so it doesn't look like it was any contact with anyone else.
Yeah. As I am looking around, oh, maybe it could have been Ian Dutta. I see a little bit of back bumper damage on him. Could have been between Dutta and the 8 car. As I continue to look around for any other cars that may have rear end damage, I think it was with Dutta and Matt. Because other than that, I don't see anybody else with rear end damage, so I think it was with Dutta.
Of course, you guys watching the race know what actually happened.
Oh, and pit stops are getting ready to happen as Charles Jackson pulls out to go in. Same with Kyle Matthews.
Charles Jackson giving up his lead.
Jesse SETTY, and I see Sonny Hammond, Brandon Nichols, all those guys are going to be staying out.
This is basically the hot lap for Jesse SETTY and all the other guys, because if they nail this lap perfectly and they don't mess up on their pit stops, they could come out a couple of positions ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, looks like half of the cars pitted, half of them stayed out, so yeah, like I said, interesting pit strategy that's going to be going down. It depends on the fuel window, which it looks like it's about 7 laps. I think when we come down to around 2 laps to go, it's going to be very, very close with everybody.
This race might just come down to pit strategy.
But then again, like I said, no cautions, so they can't rely on that for the pit stops and to get fuel and or tires. But anyway, so the top 5 right now is SETTY, Hammond, Nichols, Pollard, and Norman. So that is how it all looks at the moment. And everybody else coming out of pit road, as I'm looking up to find where is the highest of those guys. And looks like Charles Jackson got out first. And there you see McLeod, and it looks like everybody else is going in. And indeed, except for Dylan Thoreau, he's going to stay out.
Dylan Thoreau risking it, hopefully does not run out of fuel, since this is a fairly large track.
Yeah, it's nearly 3 miles in length. But it's technical and fast, so there you go. As I'm trying, yeah, there is the 11. Who is leading at the moment, but not for long, because he's got to make a pit stop, as he's the only one who's not pitted. So I think this is interesting on his part, because he could stretch it a little bit more than everybody else. So, and with it being, it looks like 9 laps of fuel window, he may only have to pit potentially twice. So
this is a high-risk, high-reward scenario, because he could only pit twice, but his fuel window could run out, and he would have to pit on the last lap.
yeah, that is true. Right now, Dylan Thoreau, it looks like, yep, he's coming in, so it will cycle back around to Charles Jackson. Once we come to the stripe here, these guys are still a long ways back from the 11. But Kyle Matthews looks like he's closing in on the 00. Yeah,
Maybe a
look
battle
at
for the
that.
lead.
Yeah, this could be the battle for the lead here in the next lap. The 24 is coming in quick on that 00. Kyle Matthews seems to want to spoil the one win for Charles Jackson, and here he comes. Oh, Jackson! Oh, he got forced out. He got into the dirt, and that's going to cost him big time. Kyle Matthews goes by for position. And Charles Jackson's now going to be under attack from both Joshua Collard and Jekko Knight for second.
Charles Jackson must not be happy about that.
I'd say I agree with you right there. And now it's going to be 3 wide for the second spot, as Joshua Collard's going to get the short end of the stick right there. And there is Kyle Matthews, the new leader. Let's take a look and see how the field looked after that first round of pit stops. Kyle Matthews is the leader. Second is Jekko Knight. Third is Joshua Collard. We'll make that Charles Jackson third, Joshua Collard fourth. Sean Galligan in fifth. Sixth, Mitchell Riggs. Seventh is going to go to Sonny Hammond now. Eighth, JESSI SETTY. Ninth, Anthony McCrory. 10th is going to be Jackie Tang. 11th is Brandon Nichols. 12th, Brandon Gonzalez. 13th is Rue McIntyre. 14th, Stephen Pollard III. 15th, Alex Hawkins. 16th, Dylan Thoreau. 17th, PJ Williams. 18th, Austin Weiner. 19th, Michael Norman. 20th, Trent Dunham. 21st is Seth Cole. 22nd is Chris Washer. 23rd, Preston Ford. 24th, Chase Oliver. 25th, Joshua Michaels. 26th, Charles Sanford. 27th, Danny Wells. 28th, Ian Dutta. 29th is Dylan Young. 30th is Joshua Balkin. 31st, Jessica Shelton. 32nd is Cole Daly, who has won the last 2 races. 33rd is Daniel Day. 34th is William Duncan. 35th, James Qualls. 36th is James McLeod. 37th is points leader Dorian FacePuncher. Looks like he might lose the points lead. 38th, Cody Lamas. 39th, Chris Thomas. 40th is David Rivera. 41st, Kendall Maynor. And 42nd is Matt McIntyre. Meanwhile, it is still Kyle Matthews up at the front. And this 3-car battle for second has not stopped. So Jekko Knight does have the spot, at least for the time being. As we are a few laps away from halfway, and about a lap or 2 away from more pit stops.
Looks like the 32 is closing in on the 24 though.
Yeah, he gained a little over a 10th that last lap, so trying something here. Excuse me. Meanwhile, the next battle we have on track, as it's mostly single file, is between Alex Hawkins, Stephen Pollard III, and that's for 15th. As Hawkins comes underneath of the 93.
And the 11 car who took that risky pit strategy is now 17th.
Yeah. Still, he gained some spots due to the strategy, so I believe he was back in 20-something before the pit stops happened, so it was definitely a bit of a gain for that 11 car. And then Seth Cole trying to work by trying to get around Trent Dunham. Seth Cole debuting the Evil Within PS4 car. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, Anthony McCurry, Brandon Nichols battling, it looks like, for the 11th, or actually make that the 10th spot, it looks like. Make that 9th. Oh, Galligan about went into the dirt, same with Sonny Hammond. But meanwhile, Kyle Matthews still leads, but he's losing some of that as Jekko Knight gained a little bit less than 4/10 that last lap. So yeah, the 32 is definitely coming fast on that 24. Jekko Knight trying to go for his second win of the season, 6th of his career, as he is the defending series champion. Trying to maybe go for his second straight title and break a make a record, 2 records for himself, to be the first multiple Walmart Cup Series champion and be the first to win 2 in a row. So imagine that.
Maybe the 32 might come into contact with the 24 before next pit stop.
Maybe, yeah. But who knows when they are going to pit. As Jekko Knight kind of overdrove it over there Let's see the margin. It was 1.62 last time. It is 1.13. So
Wow.
wow, the 32. Actually, all three of them, the 32, the 00, and the 43, are all catching up to the
00 just
24.
saw flashbacks of what happened between him and the 24 there.
Yeah, but he somehow manages to keep it ahead of Collard, but definitely is going to lose a bit of ground. But I guess with the long runs going here, Kyle Matthews' car doesn't appear to be that strong on the long runs, it looks like.
It looks like the 32 is coming, and he's coming fast.
Yeah, he is getting there. And then you got Jackson and Collard who are trying to gain back some of that ground they might have lost from earlier. But it looks like we're going to have to wait as pit stops are happening again. But Joshua Collard going to stay out.
The plot thickens here.
So Collard and then Sonny Hammond, those are the two highest cars that elected to stay out on track. So there you go. As we are definitely past halfway now, as it's 13 to go here at Champs Elysees. So right now the top five is Collard, Sonny Hammond, Brandon Nichols, Jesse SETTY, and Brandon Gonzalez at the current moment.
Let's try to find out where the 11 car is.
It looks like he was last scored in the 10th spot, but it looks like he's actually in 7th at the moment due to the scorings.
I would keep an eye on him, because his pit strategy is very risky.
Indeed. As we stay here with the 11 to see what's going to happen with him. Once more cars go in and pit, will he go with them or stay out another lap or two in order to stay on his pit sequence? Let's see. Yep, he is going to stay out as everybody else elected to come in. And another car going to stay out, and that's James McLeod. Excuse me. So yeah, only two cars have yet to pit, James McLeod and Dylan Thoreau. And there he is in the 11, who is now up in the lead. Looks like it, from the looks of it, he may have to pit another time, so it doesn't look like his strategy is going to pan out too much. But Bob, let's talk about you whenever you come in to debut for next season. So you're going to be in the returning number 19, but this time it's in for Joe Gibbs. How do you see yourself doing in season 6 in your rookie season for Walmart Cup racing?
I feel like we have a pretty good team set in place there. I feel like we can pull off a win or two if we play our cards right.
Right. And it looks like Dylan Thoreau, he is going in the pits, so looks like 8 laps is his main window, so there you have it. So it looks like he will pit again on lap 24 as projected. So
Let's find out what's happening to the 51.
He's coming in as well. So it looks like after all that, the lead cycles over to Kyle Matthews, and Sonny Hammond actually is going to be in second now. Wow. Big time gain for the 17 there, as he's actually closing in on the 24. Right now, so once we get by the 11, which we have, let's take a look and see how the top 10 looks as that happened. Kyle Matthews, still going to be your leader. Second is Sonny Hammond. Third, Jekko Knight. Fourth, Joshua Collard. Fifth is Mitchell Riggs. Sixth is Brandon Nichols. Seventh, Charles Jackson. Eighth, Jesse SETTY. 9th, Jackie Tang. 10th, Alex Hawkins. So Kyle Matthews, after that cycle, gets back to the lead, but a new second place driver in Sonny Hammond. But does he have a faster car than the 24? That's going to be the big question. Because remember, we get 6 to 7 to 8 laps before pit stops. So we're going to have another long run going here.
The next stop is definitely going to be the money stop here, because if they do mess up, they will lose their positions.
Yep. So those next pit stops will be taking place on laps 22, 23, and 24, it looks like. So there you have it with that. Anyways, the margin up at the front is 1.5 seconds separating the top two, but Checo Knight, Joshua Collard trying to make another run to not only to Sonny Hammond, but try to get back up to where they were before they had to pit last time, up to Kyle Matthews. Especially Checo Knight, considering he was closing in quick before he had to pit.
Come on, Jacko, I want to predict right this time.
Meanwhile, the battle for third is going on between Checo Knight and Joshua Collard, as Collard, he's trying to go for his second win of his career and first of the season. And he's been quite on a points roll as of late. I think, to my understanding, in the past, I would say 3-4 races, he's gained the most points out of anybody, considering he's been running very, very well. And whoa, near contact between Checo and Sonny, but Joshua Collard is going to go to second. Let's see the margin. He was 2.1 seconds back last time. He is 1.4.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the 43 is definitely faster than the 24.
And I think the 32, I mean, not the 32, the 17 of Sonny Hammond is backing off here, because he is only 4th in the points and 23 points back. He does not want to wreck and lose his good run today.
Yeah, considering that right now the highest of the top 5 in points is Sonny Hammond in 4th. Let's see where Dorian FACEPUNCHER was last scored. Back in 34th, so Sonny Hammond would take the points lead over whenever we go into our next race, which is at Coca-Cola. But meanwhile, back up at the front, still all Kyle Matthews, but wow, look at the closing distance the 43 is getting. He is definitely trying to get by that 24. Look at that. 1.4 seconds. I have to imagine it's got to be close to half a second here. And whoa, here he is coming quicker. Wow.
Almost to the back bumper.
Yeah, that has probably got to be the biggest gain I've ever seen within a lap. Let's see, it was 1.4 last time.
I'm guessing 1.1.
1/10.
Oh,
and now here he comes underneath, and Kyle Matthews about got into the dirt.
but
This is the battle for the lead. Kyle Matthews, Joshua Collard.
8 laps to go.
And it looks like Collard is going to go by. That has got to be one of the most impressive laps I have ever seen in the history of Walmart Cup Series. He was 1.4 seconds back on the previous lap and got up to him with little less than 2/10. That is incredible. And now he has gone by for the lead and pulling from that 24 car.
Not to mention is the fact that this is the most tactical road course race I've ever seen.
Yeah, very technical, where there's a lot of good racing, a lot of passing, and strategy going on, too. Meanwhile, as we're looking around, Matt McIntyre still off the pace. And yeah, pretty much only him and Ian Dutta, from what we can assume, is the only incident. Oh, Stephen Pollard III going in the pit road already. Oh, so are a lot of cars.
The 17!
Yeah, the 17 ended up pitting. Could be short pitting in case that's probably strategy for them in case I don't know if that's a good strategy because they may run out at the end because remember the fuel window is pretty much 6, 7, 8 laps and it is 7 to go, but it depends on if they can make it or not. Right now Joshua Collard with a half a second and growing lead over Kyle Matthews in that 24. Sonny Hammond's chances of maybe getting to the points lead could be dwindled. But it all depends on where he comes out once these final pit stops finish. So,
well, one thing short pitting really does well for these guys in pitting earlier than they should to like guarantee their fuel mileage for the rest of the race is that they have fresher tires than the leaders. Therefore, that they will be faster than the leaders.
Yeah. But Collard is going to be the only one in the top 5 that's going to stay out with 6 laps to go. So this is just, I guess Collard, this is his way of just trying to be sure that he's got enough fuel for the end. Right now, the top 5 is Joshua Collard, Jackie Tang, Brandon Gonzalez, Dylan Thoreau, and Chris Washer. But Collard has been the fastest car during this run, so I won't be surprised if he comes out as the leader in this final set of pit stops. And you know what I've noticed too? Every set of pit stops we've had a different leader. The first set, Charles Jackson came out first. Second set, Kyle Matthews came out first. Now in this third set, it's most likely going to be Joshua Collard who gets out first. And here he comes.
This is the money spot. Stop.
The money spot.
The money spot.
Well, he is in the money spot right now, in the lead.
I would actually really like a money spot where they're just a spot with continuous money.
Well, Dylan Thoreau going to stay out again, considering he's on a different pit sequence than everybody else. So we head back up to the front for Dylan Thoreau as more pit stops take place with the final cars who have yet to pit, but Dylan Thoreau is the only one. So let's double check on that. Yeah, he is the only one.
You said before that he would have to pit on lap 24. Let's see if you will be right on that one.
Yeah. Well, when he crosses the stripe, it will be on lap 24, so there you go. So Dylan Thoreau leads with 5 laps to go here at Champs Elysees.
Ryan.
Here in the Wheels of Fire 500.
Let's see if she'll turn down to pit this time.
And it looks like Joshua Collard is going to be in the lead once it's all said and done. And there goes Thoreau in the pit road now. And there is who could be the new leader. Once it all cycles around, that's Collard. Hold on a second. Excuse me. And yep, Dylan Thoreau did pit on lap 24, so yep, I called it. So with that being said, it is 4 laps to go here at Champs-Élysées, and the top 5 now is going to be Joshua Collard in the lead with a huge lead over Kyle Matthews. Third is going to be Sonny Hammond, so the strategy did somewhat pan out for him. So still, it's going to be a great points day for the 17 because he is probably going to be the new points leader going into Coca-Cola. Fourth is going to be Mitchell Riggs. Fifth, Jekko Knight. Sixth, Dylan Thoreau, so he's going to get a top 10 out of this, so that's good. So somewhat the strategy worked for him. 7th, Brandon Gonzalez. 8th, Alex Hawkins. 9th, Brandon Nichols. 10th, Jackie Tang. Plenty of good racing going on, but right now it is Joshua Collard, and it looks like, unless Kyle Matthews somehow makes a big run, which I doubt, because Collard's got like pretty much an 8-second lead over Matthews. I don't see Collard losing this race unless he makes big mistakes. Meanwhile, as we look around the track, battle between Trent Dunham, Danny Wells, Joshua Balkin, Rue McIntyre, and I see back here Cole Daly, Charles Sanford, and Seth Cole. Stephen Pollard III trying to go underneath of Chris Washer. And then look at this battle, it looks like for the 9th spot with Dylan Thoreau and Jackie Tang. And aside from that, that's pretty much all she wrote. 3 laps to go here at Champs Elysees. And Joshua Collard with a ginormous lead of 7.5 seconds over Kyle Matthews.
It seems like Collard will absolutely dominate this race.
Yep. And with Joshua Collard, this is going to be his 2nd win of his career, and he's winning in his home continent of Europe. So that makes it cool too.
Home country, I would have laughed so hard.
Well, I know what the difference is between country and continent.
How ironic it is, though, that whenever I log into TeamSpeak, it says I'm from France, even though I live in the US.
Anyways, 2 laps to go here at Champs-Élysées. Joshua Collard still with a over 7-second lead over the 24. So right now the top 10, Collard, Matthews, Riggs, Hammond, Knight, Hawkins, Gonzalez, Nichols, Tang, and Galligan. That is how the top 10 looks, and it looks like Brandon Gonzalez right now is the highest running of the rookies, and then Tang and then Galligan. So you got 3 out of 6 rookies still active in the series running inside the top 10.
And we will head down for 1 lap to go.
Indeed. And this has been a crazy race here at the Champs-Élysées Wheels of Fire 500. And it looks like, yep, Collard, he's going to be coming down to take the white flag, as he's pretty much good to go on fuel as he pitted on lap 22. White flag is out for Joshua Collard, who has been on a hell of a points roll in the past 4 races, it looks like, where he came close to winning Darlington. He's gotten some good finishes of top 10s in the past couple races, and all that's going to pay off with a victory here, unless he makes a giant mistake, but I don't think he will. I think he's got this track down pat, so there you go.
As long as he does not spin himself out.
Indeed. Meanwhile, while we're looking around, battle for 3rd between Sonny Hammond and Jekko Knight, or actually make that 4th, actually, between those 2. And then Galligan, Brandon Nichols battling for 9th. And then Charles Jackson and David Rivera going at it. Wait a minute, did I just see... Oh, never mind. I thought I saw front end damage on somebody, but I guess I was just seeing things. And now coming to the checkered flag for the final time here.
Joshua
Collard wins the Wheels of Fire 500 at Champs-Élysées.
Nice job on Joshua Collard's part.
That was a hell of a run for that 43 car. Great job for him. And that's his 2nd career Walmart Cup Series win, the first, to my understanding, since Season 2, which was, I believe, at Texas, I want to say. I'd have to relook at that, but Joshua Collard gets the victory, and now let's take a look at how the results came about. Joshua Collard comes away with his second career Walmart Cup Series win, first of the season. Great job for the 43 car. That's definitely going to boost him up in the point standings. Kyle Matthews gets a great finish of second, so that's going to be huge for that team, considering they came in 42nd in points. They're going to get a lot of points out of this. Mitchell Riggs gets his first top 5 of the season, coming away with third, so great job for Mitchell Riggs. Checo Knight, solid finish of fourth. That's going to be big for him in the points. And Sonny Hammond comes away with fifth. Now, we'll take a look at how Dorian FacePuncher finished and see how the points came about in just a moment. Alex Hawkins, great job at finishing sixth. That's his second top 10 of the season. Jackie Tang, great job at finishing seventh. Brandon Gonzalez, his teammate, great job in eighth. Sean Galligan, solid run of ninth. And Brandon Nichols with his third top 10 of the season for the Daytona 500 winner. Rest of the top 20, Anthony McCurry. So you could pretty much say, we'll say that in a second, but Dylan Thoreau, then Jesse SETTY, James McLeod, William Duncan, Stephen Pollard III. So all 4 of the Kyotech cars finished in the top 20. So Kyotech had a solid day here at Champs Elysees, and yes, that rhymed, no joke. Then the rest of the top 20, Jessica Sheldon, Chris Washer, David Rivera, and pole sitter Charles Jackson. Rest of the top 30, P.J. Williams, Dorian FacePuncher, Chase Oliver, Rue McIntyre, Seth Cole, Charles Sanford, Joshua Balkin, Cole Daly, Joshua Michaels, Dylan Young. Then the rest of the top 40 was Trent Dunham, Daniel Day, James Qualls, Ian Dutta, Austin Weiner, Danny Wells, Preston Plord, Chris Thomas, Cody Lamas, Kendall Maynor, and then Michael Norman, and the last car, Matt McIntyre. Now the points coming in. Sonny Hammond came in 23 points behind Dorian FacePuncher, and Hammond was the highest of the top 5 in points to finish in there. So Hammond finished in 5th. Dorian FacePuncher finished in 22nd. And with Sonny Hammond getting a bonus point, I believe, for leading a lap from staying out one time, it looks like Dorian FacePuncher will still have the points lead, but by only about 7 or 8 points over Sonny Hammond. So it's going to be close going into Coca-Cola to see who could become the new points leader. But that does it for our coverage today here at Champs-Élysées. I'd like to thank Bob Jones for stopping by the booth.
Hello. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
But anyway, so thank you guys for watching this race. Here are your results, rookie points, regular points heading into Coca-Cola. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.